Usually there's a lot of sexual passion energy behind with the twin flame because of this. Of what we call an empath is a person who is...
That's not really necessarily a curse. A lot of that energy vampires.
Or to protect yourself of what is actually...
Curses would be something that...
Fantasization around twin flames. You have interactions with energy workers and you believe they cursed you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my Reiki room. So you guys have seen in my videos before, here at Mystics, we have Michelle, which is the Oracle reader and Tarot reader here at Mystics. And her room is actually right next to mine. But I thought it would be kind of cool to bring her on, and because she's also, you know, an energy worker as well too. And we just wanted to address some things that we see in our energy world, just like working with clients. So we really want to like I call it demystifying the woo-woo stigma around certain topics in the energy world or the spiritual community. And one of those being twin flames. So this is a hot topic that we actually get asked about quite a bit. I get messages online and we see it in our daily work with like people trying to work through twin flame connections or like trying to manifest their twin flame. You guys probably have heard of that quite a bit, just with like the spiritual lingo in the community. So let's actually like discuss what twin flames actually are and what they serve, basically what they're for in our life, how we can, you know, use them as a tool to level ourselves up. So you can recognize when this is happening in your own reality, and then so you can transcend that energy around the twin flame, essentially. So let's dive into, first off, what is a twin flame? When we talk about twin flames, guys, typically, I know when I first started, I used to think that the twin flame was actually kind of like your soulmate type of energy. I learned that the twin flame is actually not as positive as one would think. So it is your soul split into two. So it's identical energy in two different bodies. Whenever you recognize your twin flame in the physical reality in your world, people are very drawn to who they think is their twin flame. So it could feel like when you meet somebody and you feel like it's your twin flame, you would see signs of like a fiery attraction towards that person, and you don't necessarily understand why you're attracted to them. You feel like you've known them forever, but yet you haven't. And you feel like you can just be yourself around them. You feel very comfortable around them. And the thing to know is there is a high level of attraction towards this person that it's almost obsessive.
Like you're very drawn.
You're very drawn. And this is because the energy is magnetic. This is just the laws of energy, right? So like attracts like energy. So it's just that there's a lot of qualities in you that this other person is mirroring back to you. And what I want to demystify around this, guys, is that we do this with every single human being. It is just not with a twin flame. We just call it a twin flame, in my opinion, because we're drawn to them so intensely that we feel passion and love, and it's just like the male-female connection. So you think that this person is like a soulmate type of like you're supposed to be with this person on that kind of level because you feel that drawn to them. Usually there's a lot of sexual passion energy behind with the twin flame because of this. You're recognizing the energy in the other person very similar to that of your own. So that's why they feel very familiar to you. And like I said, guys, we do this with every single human being on this planet. We are each mirrors for one another, and it's all reflecting back to us. Your twin flame is just one that has a lot of the similar energies. And so you're very drawn to it.
It's like when you date someone or whatever, and you're just like, it's like I'm dating myself, or, you know.
Yeah.
Just the female version or the male version of me.
Yeah, that's what it legit feels like. But that's essentially what people identify with as seeing their twin flame, and like where we kind of get that terminology from, I feel like, at least. I don't know if there's not a set stone rule to tell you what a twin flame is or not, but I want to like take that and reframe that, because the twin flame journey is what they call it, is the twin flame union of when you come together and meet your twin flame and actually get into a relationship, that it is super powerful. You are a powerful energy together and all this stuff like that. And that's what made me think that like when you find your twin flame, like you're with that person forever, and it is just this euphoric like power couple house energy type, and it is not that at all. Because this person is basically very similar energy to who you are, they're also going to mirror back to you your triggers. And this is where the power couple giving you your soul's evolution comes in, because the way it does this is by learning lessons. I say lessons, but you're going to be triggered AF from your twin your twin flame, because you are so alike in energies. And so they're going to be mirroring back to you the triggers. What initially was drawing you to that person is going to eventually turn into triggers through the relationship. And that's what makes you powerful, is because it's going to force you to learn lessons, because now you're probably either with this person in a relationship, you're married with them, or you're still wildly attracted to this other person. So there's that sexual passion still there, or you know, some people get addicted to that feeling. You're kind of still stuck in a cycle, and you get addicted to those feelings of like, you know, triggering one another and then coming back together, like the chase, the cat mouse chasing. That's what people get addicted to, those feelings.
But I feel like they also, because of them mirroring you too, and you having so many similarities and everything else, again, that mirror effect is the trigger is teaching a lot about yourself.
Yeah,
they're teaching you a lot about yourself, and that's really the key point to take away from that, is instead of looking at it like, you know, you're toxic or whatever have you, because it will very much feel like that.
Yeah, it will.
But if you're looking at it more of, what am I supposed to be learning about myself? You know, what is this lesson that I'm supposed to be learning about myself, really?
That's how the twin flame union makes you feel, like I say, like it makes you better as individuals or souls, and how you can actually be a powerhouse couple is if you both heal. But it does require that, like, when you heal yourself, you're going to heal it in that other person, the trigger. But there will be a point of like you're healing, you're raising in vibration, your partner is going to have to be called in to match that vibration. Otherwise they're going to fall out of your reality. So it's almost like you have to climb together in vibration.
And it's not your job to fix your partner.
Yes, it's
not your job to fix
you. You can kind of see the fantasization around twin flames is really not that great at all. And honestly, if you want to even go higher above a reframe with this, twin flames, I say, don't exist necessarily, because this type of relationship happens with all humans interacting with one another, just on different levels of like how much is this person triggering me and mirroring back to me. And like I said, it happens all the time with everybody who we meet in our life. Like, we are each other's greatest teachers. Relationships are spiritual assignments, I like to call it. So it's really with everybody, guys. Each and every single one of us is a balance of these energies. Like, we are both the light and the dark. We are masculine and feminine. It's kind of like you truly don't need anything outside of yourself. Relationships are just tools to allow us to understand ourselves better. They are tools, and yes, they should be adding value to your life. They should be growing you. You have to like ask yourself, especially like in the absence, like say you break up or something like that, what energy is this other person providing that I'm not providing within myself? Like, say you and your twin flame break up, and then there's that longing, that yearning, like you're missing like a piece of you, right? So you were using that person in your life as a tool to create an energy within yourself. Yes, So you have to ask yourself, what is holding you back in your life from allowing yourself to create that same love that somebody else was providing? So another one that we've seen quite a bit is psychic attacks or curses. And you've seen this a lot with your clients as well too. Like you've actually been talking about that quite a bit, but I see it a lot in my online community, and just some clients wanting curses removed. So I think it's really important to address what these things actually are.
So curses, really, to me anyway, from what I've known about curses, there's a difference. So, you know, curses would be something that have been put on, and it's very passionate. It's through pain, passion, you know, that is afflicted on maybe a generation or a family or a person or whatever, and it's passed on. The thing is that it generally is one thing. So for example, if this person had cursed someone that for every birth of their first son, they don't live. So then that generation of family, when they have their first son, there's something wrong or complications or whatever, and that son does not live. And then the next generation, their grandkids have their first sons or whatever, and they don't live either, and it's repeated. That is an example of an actual factual curse. But like if you're having relationship issues, and it's always been the same relationship issues throughout your family, your parents and their, you know, their parents and so on and so forth, that's not really necessarily a curse. A lot of that has to do with, you know, generational traumas. It's
kind of like the same thing I would look at as if your parents get a divorce, then like you're, I don't know what percentage more likely to get a divorce too, or have relationship issues. And it's just because of what you were subjected to as
generational patterns. That's
maybe
what it is.
Yeah.
So it can go back 10 generations.
Yeah.
Because you weren't taught any other way. You only knew one way to go about or deal with or handle the situations or whatever. So when you recognize that, and things that you feel like does not work for you, because of course it hadn't worked for generations or whatever, it could stop with you. You know, you actually consciously are aware that, you know what, this hasn't been working. I'm going to try it my way because I feel like this is what's going to be best for me. And then you can actually carry on that to the future generation, and that might actually be a more positive outcome versus what has always been
the repetitive cycle.
Right.
So it's ultimately like it's up to you with everything. I always say everything starts and ends with you, and that's the same with curses and psychic attacks, or I call them energy vampires, psychic vampires. What I see online and what I get people coming to me for is they want curses removed that they feel like somebody has cast on them, so that they feel like somebody hexed them, we'll say it that way, and that they're experiencing just negative energies. They feel like they have bad luck, or they feel like very disconnected, so it's just kind of like they keep feeding this idea that they are cursed, or maybe somebody even told them that, you know, they're cursed. What I've seen before too is people go to psychics, like especially online, and they'll send you like a DM or a list of like, you have all these curses, like let me remove them for a fee, you know. So don't do that. So it's ultimately, it all starts and ends with you, and you're the thing that's going to be feeding the belief of that if these things truly manifest for you or not.
Yeah,
like
because you are the creator.
You are the creator.
We are all the creators of our own reality.
So it's just like, what are you feeding your attention and your energy to will actually start to manifest. It's not just with curses, guys. It's anything in your life. What you give your attention to is what the universe gives you more of. So it's up to your level of belief. So if you believe that a psychic, like, you know, cursed you first, or like you have a psychic attack on you, like it's gonna be true, because you're gonna create that. Nobody else has power over you other than the power you give them to have over you.
And if that's true, and you truly believe that you have been cursed or whatever, just as much as you allowed that to make manifest, you actually can make it go away as well. Again, you are the creator, so you actually can take that away yourself.
Yes.
You know,
some people don't have enough of faith in their self that they are actually that powerful to do it, and this is where they call energy workers like us to come in and do ceremonies or do healings to remove the curse. And we can, I've done it before too, but I always make sure the client knows that they are in control of it and what a curse actually is. And if they still need that extra help, like a ceremony and praying and like doing the crystals and energy work, and of course I set up a grid and stuff like that, we have the whole 9 yards. If they need that, then that's what we give them.
That's why I like what we do.
I do.
Because people come to us for guidance and direction and everything else, because not everybody has tools readily available or even the knowledge, you know, to be able to
do it.
Yeah.
You got to be careful of who you choose as your energy workers. It's super important. If you believe that a psychic has, like, you have interactions with energy workers and you believe they cursed you, it's not just even with curses, guys. The faith that you have in anything, anyone, who you interact with is huge. The energies that you interact with everybody in your life is huge, because they're going to impact you or influence you in some way. If you're, especially if your mind isn't strong enough to either, I don't want to say think for yourself, or not be influenced, or to protect yourself of what is actually your energy and what is coming into your field as trying to influence you to do something that's maybe not in alignment with truly who you are. You know, this is just life shit. So it's very important of who you surround yourself with, and working with the energies. It can be very powerful or it can break you down. It's whatever you allow it to do. So it's just kind of the same with psychic vampires or energy vampires as well too. Like, who are you allowing to take your energy from you? Because nobody's a vampire unless you're allowing them to take your energy,
and
right?
half the time they don't even know that they're doing it either.
Half the time they don't even know. It's not even intentional.
So it's your responsibility to be consciously aware. You know.
Yeah, it's don't give your energy away to people. That's essentially what it is. I'm one of those people that it's like, don't stoop down to somebody else's energy level. Don't let them bring you down, elevate them to your level. You know, that should be your goal. So this is where, like, if you are a person who, you know, people pleasers or empaths, or you attract a lot of maybe narcissism in your life, things like that, energy work is a good tool to actually have to help protect you. And it's because, you know, a lot of it is being consciously aware. It forces you to be consciously aware, and it builds your, you know, mental discipline and strength. But it's ultimately, you are the creator of it.
I always like to take the saying from Wayne Dyer, and he says, you know, how people treat you is their karma, and how you react is yours.
100%. 100. I love Wayne Dyer.
Yeah.
I wish he was still here.
Since we're on the energy vampires, this is where we would be addressing the empaths. So my empaths that usually come through my door and sit in front of me, I have to tell them to be consciously aware of how they are feeling before they even walk into any room that have people. I don't care if it's a store, I don't care if it's somebody's house, you know, I don't care if it's a party, doesn't matter. You know, you want to be able to check in with yourself first. Okay? That's important, because then you would recognize when you go into a room full of people and then your feelings and emotions start changing, okay, then you can actually recognize that, wait, this is not me, this is not mine that I'm feeling or whatever. And that's when power is in choice always, so you can always choose that you're going to adopt that feeling or emotion or whatever, okay, or you can be like, okay, this is not mine. And this is not, I choose not to carry this on, you know. Go to your heart center, sit with yourself, give yourself, you know, a few minutes to, you know, do some deep breaths, deep breathing to channel yourself back in you know.
Energy work tools, energy hygiene tools, all of the things, use them.
Especially the empaths.
Yeah, especially the empaths. And I think it's important to clarify what an empath is, because I've actually been called out for this on some of my videos of like, that's not an empath.
Okay.
So, at least for my definition, an empath is a person who is very hypersensitive to energy. So I want to say, like, one thing, we all are energetic beings. So we all feel energy. It's just our nature, right? It's just at the level at which of what we call an empath is a person who is hypersensitive. So they feel a lot of energy, right? So they are like this most of the time, from what I understand from psychology, like from a psychological aspect, is that they were subjected to some form of trauma while they were young that caused them to be hypersensitive. So it probably was people growing up in like unstable homes. If you had like if you didn't have like a stable foundation, or parents that were unpredictable, like in their moods, or like the way that you were treated or disciplined, things of that nature. If you felt unsafe, you then trained yourself subconsciously to be hyper aware, so then you could monitor your surroundings. So you were basically in fight or flight all the time because you had to be, for whatever reason. So that is where that hypersensitivity becomes almost like a superpower, but it never goes away, but you just feel everybody else's energies and you're constantly on edge, trying to basically predict energies. And this is where you're going to feel everybody else's. So when you walk into a room, you're reading everybody's energy, trying to predict all the outcomes. This is why a lot of empaths have a lot of social anxiety, because when they are in large groups, they're overwhelmed by all the stimulus that they feel, and whether they're conscious or unconscious of it. I know, like for myself, I had really bad social anxiety, and this was one of the reasons, because you feel everybody's energy. So you have to practice good energy hygiene and bring your aura in. That's what Sam has always taught me, and just to shield yourself, essentially. So you have to connect with the body, like you said, the breath in the body. That helps too. But it would be a whole nother video to like go over tools to protect an empath and mindset shifts around that. So,
but I mean, circling back to trauma, you know, because that's a lot of, we do get a lot of clients that come in that has dealt with trauma, and a lot of them don't know how to deal with it and move it forward, and that's where the energy work comes into play. However, you know, and this is where I want to go back to Wayne Dyer again, because he had it, and I'm gonna because I don't want to chop it up. What he said was, you know, with everything that has happened to you, you can either feel sorry for yourself or treat what has happened to you as a gift. Okay, everything is either an opportunity to grow, or an obstacle to keep you from growing. You get to choose.
Yep.
I love that. It's, you know, and it can be hard, because a lot of people come from very traumatic
It's
trauma.
It's the body holds on to trauma as a form of self-protection to not let it happen again.
Right.
But ultimately that keeps us stuck in that those same habits and the thought patterns around it.
Shout out to my borderline personality disorder people.
Yeah.
That's their, you know, they have their way of protecting themselves or whatever. You know, I get it.
You can either choose to be wounded, or you can choose to be wise. So if you choose to be wounded, you wear it around like a badge. And trauma is just something that you're identifying yourself with that you don't like about yourself. So he calls it an excuse of a way to be. So you can either choose to be wounded and wear the badge of trauma and then affect everybody else around you, or you can choose to be wise and then evolve past it, because from trauma comes wisdom when you actually face it and learn about yourself and transcend those energies, and then therefore you up-level your life.
And the healing
From
yes.
it, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing the way your body and mind will shift when you get that energy out of your body.
Yeah.
Because that's all it truly is. It's energy stuck in your body because of trauma, and therefore it's thoughts on repeat in your head keeping it there.
Right. And what has happened to you was not your fault.
No, it's not.
However, it is your responsibility to do the healing.
That's where we end generational
Yes.
curses.
Yes.
From healing ourselves.
Empath and generational patterns. So, and we are here to help. I mean, this is why you go to seek therapy. Yep. Therapy is okay. There's nothing wrong with going to talk to a professional.
No.
We are also here too.
To
do both.
I was about to say,
yes.
A lot of my clients
yes.
actually do both therapy and energy work. They complement one another very well, and a lot of therapists actually are energy workers.
Yep.
So
whether they know it or not.
Whether they know it or not, this is very true. So guys, I think that's all that we have time for today, because we actually need to go up front in the shop now. So if you guys have any questions for us, let us know. Maybe we could answer maybe we'll make this a thing of where we answer your questions just about energy work. And we know a lot of energy workers, we get introduced to them all here. So if you have questions over spells and witchy stuff, to oracle, to tarot, to hypnosis and quantum work, or energy with Reiki, or emotions and processing energy, things like that, drop them in the comments. Anything that you have questions on or want to know more about, we will address it. Or if we don't know the answer, we definitely know people who do know the answer.
Oh, yes.
So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my Reiki room, and I hope you enjoyed our little altar.
Serene.
This is some good vibes right here, guys. Trust me, this is some good vibes. Sending them your way. We'll see you guys.